Am I the a-hole for telling my fiancé her tattoo of my dead brother makes me uncomfortable? Okay, so for context, my older brother, 30 male, I'm 29 male, passed away 3 years ago in a motorcycle accident. This messed me up severely, still does. He was my best friend, and we had that whole inseparable since we met kind of thing. Even though he was older, he was never the stereotypical older brother bully type, and I loved him for that. Anyway, my fiancée, who I'll call Bella, 28 female, met him only a few times, but always said she admired our bond since she has no real siblings of her own. Only step-siblings, but they aren't close. A few weeks ago, Bella surprised me with a tattoo she got in memory of my brother. It's a pretty big realistic grayscale tattoo of his face, with a little Snoopy icon beside it on her upper arm, with the nickname we used for him and his birth and death dates underneath. When I saw this, I was stunned. She said she did it as a tribute to him and to support me, because she knows how much I still struggle with grief. I honestly didn't know what to say at first, but the more I sat with it, the more it bothered me. I told her, as gently as I could to be honest, that I appreciated the gesture, but found the tattoo really uncomfortable. It's unsettling to see his face on my fiancé's body. It feels like too much, especially since they barely knew each other. She got upset and said I was being weird about a nice gesture and making her regret doing something beautiful, her words. Now she's distant, and my mom thinks I should just be thankful someone loved my brother enough to memorialize him. But first off, I didn't ask her to do this. Now I'm stuck with a fiancé who won't even talk to me properly, and my brother's perfectly black and gray eyes staring at me when I'm lying beside her. And honestly, I don't even want to think about how horrifying having sex would be with that on her arm. Am I being unreasonable? A-hole-ish? Is it within my right to ask her to get it covered up or removed? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It makes complete sense to feel uncomfortable by that. Yes, and isn't it totally weird to get his tat on her? Like she might be a little off plumb. Not really a fan of memorial portrait tattoos. And this seems even stranger. I'm actually feeling a little icky about it. I can't imagine, as you say, having sex with your brother's eyeballs staring at you. Not the a-hole. Does she have other tattoos? Is she known to be this impulsive? Why is your mom okay with a woman who barely knew him getting his face tattooed? Even if you were okay with it, what's going to happen in the future? People are going to assume he was her fiancé or her brother. And once they learn you are actually the fiancé, they're going to assume things. And if you have kids, they're going to have questions. Are you sure she's not having some kind of episode? For info, yes, my fiancé and I both have tattoos, plenty of them. And we're both the type to get tattoos linked to good memories or experiences. My latest tattoo was about 5 months ago for my childhood dog. Though, to be clear, I got a paw print with her name under it. A paw print, not a whole portrait of her. My fiancé has similar ones that are larger in scale, so her forearm tattoo with my brother's face isn't unusual aesthetically. It's just, it's my brother. Also, to my knowledge, she's been doing fine and has only been bitter these past few weeks because of my reaction. Not the a-hole. That's a wild overstep on her part. It's one thing to support you through grief. It's another to permanently tattoo your brother's face on her body when they barely knew each other. That's not a tribute. That's weirdly possessive of your grief and your bond with him. You have every right to feel uncomfortable seeing your late brother's face on your fiancé's arm every day, especially in intimate situations. It doesn't mean you don't appreciate the sentiment. It just crosses a line. She should have asked you before making such a huge decision involving someone so personal to you. Weirdly possessive of your grief is such a spot-on way to describe this. I really like that too, and while I think my fiancé didn't have any bad intentions regarding this, it does feel fitting. Next story. Am I the a-hole for taking my laptop back after my boyfriend's sister stole from us? I, 21 female, have a house with my boyfriend, 22 male. My boyfriend's sister, 17 female, feels like she has the right to enter our house at any time just because my boyfriend lives here too. Last night around 11:30 p.m., after my boyfriend and I had already fallen asleep, his sister walked into our house, which woke my boyfriend up. She asked if she could take a beer out of our fridge, and he told her no. She threw a fit and slammed our bathroom door. My boyfriend thought she would just leave after throwing her tantrum in the bathroom, so he came back to bed. After a while, we heard our front door slam. My boyfriend got up to lock it, and we thought that was the end of it. This morning, while putting groceries away, I opened the drawer in the fridge where we keep our alcohol, and it was completely empty. I had bought a 24-pack of Seagrams on Thursday and had only had one. So I asked my boyfriend if he had moved them somewhere else. He told me no and reminded me that his sister had asked for a beer. He said no and thought she left after that. I confronted her about it, and she basically told me that she used our bathroom and that her friend must have come into the house and taken them. This could technically be true, but my boyfriend only heard the door slam once after coming back to bed. The door won't close unless you slam it hard, so if it had been open long enough for the friend to grab the alcohol from the fridge and leave, my cat would have definitely run out of the house. So her story was a lie to keep herself out of trouble. After thinking about it, I told her I knew she was lying, and even if she wasn't, she let her friend steal from us. I told her she was being selfish and disrespectful. She went on a rant about how I was a witch, that I control my boyfriend, and that I'm not family to her anymore. When she said that, it pissed me off. On top of how mad I already was that she thinks she has the right to take things from my house just because her brother lives here. I went to her dad's house and told him that I was sorry, but they were going to have to figure out another way for her to do her schoolwork because I was taking my computer back since I wasn't family anymore. He was fine with this. Now she's even more pissed and telling my boyfriend that he's dead to her and telling him to get rid of me since I'm controlling. I have never been rude to her and have been there for her through breakups and hard times, but she treats me like this just because I'm upset that she stole from me. Am I the a-hole? Edit. We forgot to lock the house that night and didn't think much of it. We can only lock the house when we are there because our landlord lost the keys. We bought a new door handle, but it doesn't fit in the hole that is in the door. So we're waiting on our landlord to approve us drilling a bigger hole into the door for the new handle. Not the a-hole, but why does she have access to your house? You need to stop that from happening, and if your boyfriend is okay with his younger sister coming and going as she wants to and disrespecting you, then he needs to go too. He isn't, and he's told her this, but she's a brat and doesn't listen. It doesn't matter whether she's listening or not. There are steps he can take to prevent her accessing your house. It appears he hasn't done so. So a minor is just wandering out at night, stealing and drinking 24 beers? Does her dad give a damn about her at all? What is happening? It's obviously not your responsibility to deal with her, but I'm surprised her dad and brother don't seem to care. You should also secure your house properly. Not the a-hole. Her brother does care. He's pissed as well. Their dad says he's going to talk to her. There's no point in grounding her though because she doesn't listen, and she broke her phone so he can't take that away. Update. We got our new door handle in. I feel safe and my belongings are secure. His sister is still throwing a tantrum and has disowned us as family. She sent my boyfriend and me long paragraphs at 2 a.m. last night. She told my boyfriend that he never sticks up for her and always takes my side. This is the first time she and I have ever fought, and he's taking my side because he was also pissed that she was coming into our house and taking my stuff. She also told me that I need to grow up because I make every outing awkward and turn my boyfriend into a different person. His mom agrees with this, but believes I make him into a better, happier, goofier version of himself. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife we aren't getting a new car until she gets a job? My wife is a stay-at-home mom to our 2 kids, ages 15 and 13. I do most of the budgeting and finances, but I try to involve her. She's simply not interested, she says. We are comfortable financially, mostly because I've always avoided debt and been frugal. We also live in a low cost of living city, which helps a lot. My wife is the spender between us, and it seems she's always pushing the limits and wanting to spend more on lifestyle, mostly for her, like makeup, eyelashes, hair care, face creams, nails, waxing, etc. We set a budget of $800 for each of us to spend on whatever we want, but she always uses hers up and then wants me to pay for takeout or buy her things on Amazon because I don't even spend much. It's true, I mostly garden, hike, bike, and read. But I do save up sometimes for big-ticket items like a new Kindle or Scribe or a new bike. I've explained that it's not fair for her to ask for my spending money just because she spends hers quickly. Recently, we paid off our mortgage because I had been paying extra every month, and she said, "Good, now we can buy a new car." I refused and said that money is going toward our investment accounts so we can have a comfortable retirement. When we met, we always talked about retiring early and traveling the world, and we still have regular conversations about it. So I don't think she's changed her mind, unless it was in the past month. Anyway, she was mad, saying that I was a tightwad and asking why we need to save so much in retirement accounts if we can die tomorrow. One of our cars is a 2017 and the other is a 2014. We paid for both in cash when we bought them, and they've been nothing but reliable. She said our cars were old and that she wants a new one and seems pretty set on the idea. I told her, "Fine, we can buy a new car once you get a job and you've been working for at least a year." She was furious with that comment and said I was an a-hole and a cheapskate. I told her, "Look, I only want what's best for our future, and the kids will be starting college soon. We need to save more for that too. Plus, maybe once they go to college in a few years, we can get a nice used car in cash if we start saving for it now." She didn't like that response either and is now giving me the silent treatment. I feel like I'm the responsible villain, and she is the happy-go-lucky one that has no care in the world. For reference, our income is $140,000, and we are in our mid-30s. She's never held a job because she's always been a stay-at-home mom. Paying off the mortgage to me is a huge relief, and I want to put that extra money to good use. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. She's already effectively retired. Why would she much care about early retirement? Lol, that's true. Harsh but true. Sorry, I probably worded that too sharply. She's got little motivation to want retirement, from what you say. I know that it's something I think about and wish for constantly, as I'm in a very, very high-stress job. I can't imagine that I'd give two hoots about retirement if I had total freedom and plenty of money in my pocket. The only one retiring in your plans is you. She's not changing anything in retirement other than perhaps actually losing some freedom and autonomy, and some of her spending money by having your company full-time. Yeah, financial incompatibility is a big one. Honestly, why doesn't she have a job already? The kids have been in school for quite a while. She tries to act like what she does around the house justifies staying home, but I know she could at least work part-time. Her life isn't that busy. Take her $800 monthly allowance and use for her car, and don't give her any extra. This is a good compromise, but I doubt it'll fix anything. Would probably create more arguing. Your wife just wants to be the spoiled kid for the rest of her life and do none of the monetary work. I've seen it with own family members and family friends. Not sure how to change it, as it only seems to get worse with age. I wouldn't be surprised if she used divorce against you at some point. Which, realistically, you would be in the same financial situation either way. Maybe even better to split up if after the kids turn 18. That is, after trying counseling and she's still not willing to be on the same page financially. Frivolous spending is a disease, especially when they aren't doing the work for the money themselves. Last story. Am I the a-hole for blocking my wife after she wouldn't stop calling me at work? I, 27 male, work night shifts away from home in a dangerous job where I'm responsible for a team's safety. Yesterday, I had just woken up and was getting ready for work when my wife, 25 female, texted saying she wasn't doing well and wanted to talk. I took her call even though I was exhausted and short on time. We talked for about 20 minutes. I mostly listened, but at one point I said we both need to work on our relationship, and that while I take responsibility for a lot, I can't take all of it. She got angry. I said I was hurt that she wouldn't hear my side. She hung up. After that, she started calling and texting me nonstop. She told me I was hurting her and had to answer. I told her I needed space and to stop. She didn't. She even started calling my work phone. This went on for about 2 hours, to the point where I had to block her just so I could focus on my job. She's now saying I abandoned her, that I'm controlling, emotionally abusive, and don't care about her. She threatened to show up at my workplace if I didn't answer. She even got her mom and friends to call me. I feel like I was just trying to protect my boundaries and my ability to do my job safely, but she says I was cruel and abusive for shutting her out. Am I the a-hole for blocking her and refusing to talk until I feel safe? Added for context, my wife and I have been together for 9 years. No kids. I work away from home on 2-week rotations, 4 hours away. I'm currently 6 days into this shift. I grew up with a narcissistic mother and was the family scapegoat. I cut contact 7 years ago. I've always been a people pleaser and took on blame just to keep the peace. I've been in therapy for 5+ years and still struggle with shame and self-image, but I've made progress. Our relationship has always been difficult. We both came from broken homes. We've each done individual therapy, and we tried couples counseling but stopped at her request. About 6 months ago, I got a new boss who triggers a lot of my old wounds. It's forced me to learn boundaries and to be okay with being disliked. That's been really hard, but also necessary. I know I've been bringing some of that stress home, and I'm working on it in therapy. For years, I avoided conflict and just agreed with my wife. Recently, I've started speaking up instead of fawning. That's been a big shift for us. I've arranged coverage at work and am taking a couple of days off because my team's safety is the top priority. I knew I wasn't in the right headspace. I don't know what this means for our relationship yet, but I know I need time to process. Thanks to everyone for the support. It means a lot. I think it's your wife who's controlling, emotionally abusive, and doesn't care about you. Don't lose your job over it. Exactly. At this point, OP had to block her to protect his professionalism on the job and be able to focus on the safety of the team. Holy crap, this is not just projection, but projection amplified. OP can't just drop everything because the wife demands to talk. I don't know what the dynamic of the relationship is, or where the conflict is, or who did what to whom and why, but even if he were the biggest POS in the world, lives are on the line, and she cannot simply summon him at a whim like that. You're not the a-hole. She's an adult. She wasn't dying or giving birth. Her response was absurd and manipulative. The fact she sent others after you as well suggests she's used to getting tended to. What's wrong with her? Is this really the relationship you want? Because this snapshot doesn't look great. If she's threatening to come to your work and sending people to call and disrupt you at work, the relationship has run its course. She's endangering your safety and those of your coworkers because she can't get her way. This is not acceptable. Not the a-hole. Best lawyer up ASAP. Doesn't mean you need to file. Just start preparing. Tell whoever calls to mind their business. Tell your wife to start taking responsibility for her behavior, or the marriage will be over.